Hi folks, Paul from Slow Dragon Music here, and this is SDM TV. Hi folks, and welcome back to SDM TV. Over the past few episodes, we have delved into some pretty interesting music industry subjects, of course with the assistance of some lovely musicians and industry people. So far, we've covered self-producing your sound, radio promotion, live battle programs, and now we turn our attention to event streaming. So dropping in on the conversation today, we have vocalist Shaggy from the Scottish Masked Marauders Hateball. We have Anna Murphy of Swiss folk metalers Cellar Darling, and from Finnish melodic death troupe Wolfheart, Tuomas. Did I pronounce that well enough?
It is close enough, yeah.
So how are we doing today, people?
Rocking.
Not too bad.
Excellent. So
as good as I guess anybody would be.
Yeah.
Or any of us would be in these circumstances.
Yep, it's pretty rotten. So, as I said, one of the upshots of that is today we're talking about event streaming. Actually, Tuomas, I want to start with you. I believe Wolfheart were one of the first metal bands to actually launch a full streaming event way back at the start of the current situation. Is that right?
Yeah, we were the second band that announced one. We weren't the... A few other bands were doing their streaming before us, like Insomnium, for example, but we were the second one announcing to do one. Yeah.
So, I mean, was it not quite daunting stepping into that somewhat unknown territory? Did you find it a little bit?
Yeah, but we also had a huge pressure to come up with something because our North American tour got cancelled 6 days before we were supposed to fly, and paying all the CWAs and visas and merch and backline and everything. So we had to come up with something. So it was, yeah, we didn't really have time to think, was it like uncharted waters or not? We just had to come up with something. We were really happy to be able to come up with something that actually made sense and in multiple ways, even though the actual streaming gig when it comes to being a musician sucks horribly.
Yeah. In what way?
Well, the energy between the band and the audience is such a huge factor. And if you take all of that away, yeah, it's very awkward and weird situation.
Yeah. It's a different kind of performance, yeah. So, I mean, away at the other end of it, even just a couple of months ago, you had a studio stream, yeah, where you did the whole of your debut album. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah. So,
how did you find that compared? Did you find that maybe you got used to that kind of feeling of not having the audience to feed off, or?
The setup was completely different. We learned from the first time. We rented one of the biggest venues in Finland, and we were literally playing for the empty venue. Now we were just doing like a playthrough thing in the studio. So it was more like a rehearsal situation for us. So it was like 10 times easier because we weren't really performing to anybody. We were just playing together, which we haven't been doing much. So it was like 10 times more enjoyable.
You found it easier to get into, not feeling the pressure to try and make it as if it was for a live audience.
Yeah, because we didn't need to pretend. We did the same thing we would have done at the rehearsal place anyway. Just everybody facing the drummer, and just there was a lot more like interaction with the guys. You are not trying to look like you are performing to the audience that are possibly on the other side of the camera in the end. So it was completely like a different setup.
Yeah, I can understand that. I suppose, actually, Anna, you similarly had a bit of a varied experience with event streaming yourself, doing your own studio event, but also being involved in the, let me try this one, Tohu Wabohu Festival stream. Do you feel that, having done these similar things, that your experience relates in any way to what Tuomas just said?
Absolutely, yeah. I felt way more comfortable doing it from the studio because, as he already mentioned, it was more like a rehearsal, and there just happened to be a lot of people watching, but you don't actually see them. I was still very anxious. Live streaming is definitely not for me because I am a very nervous person. I have stage anxiety, and the people not being there actually makes it a lot worse because in the end the crowd is the thing that actually holds you and makes you feel okay in the end. And if that's just missing completely, it's much worse for me. So the thing we did after an actual festival live stream from a stage, that was just, it felt horrible. It's not something that I want to keep on doing, to be honest.
You can't wait for it to go away then. I think a lot of us can't, I suppose.
But the good thing about it is it's gonna make us appreciate actual live shows much more. So I've never wanted to play an actual show this bad.
Yeah. So were you saying that then you feel like you get stage anxiety? I think a lot of people, regardless of how much they love playing live, have had to work through that. Were you saying that you felt it less playing live than you did in the studio live stream?
Well, the difference is live, I think the amount of anxiety to begin with is pretty much the same, but with a live show it goes away at some point because you look into the lovely faces of the people who support you and they just carry you in a way. And so during live shows it ends up being okay. Sometimes it can even turn into ecstasy and joy in some way, but with the live streaming it just doesn't go away because there's no response. Yeah, so that's the difference.
Yeah. There was another thing I was wanting to ask you. You're quite well known for using a hurdy-gurdy in your works, and I'm not sure, but I feel like that sort of more unusual instrumentation is a bit of a draw for the type of person that is at home watching live streams. I know everybody is to a degree, but I think it's maybe a bit more of a thing. Do you think that provides an advantage for your own live streaming events, having something that unique?
I'm not really sure, to be honest, because I think the people who watched our live stream were people who would come to our shows anyways. I'm not really sure how many people watched it that didn't already know the band, so I can't really answer that, to be honest.
I suppose I was just one that was spurred on from watching, I don't know if you'll have seen, but Wardruna. I've been doing a little bit of this sort of live streaming stuff where I can't remember the fellow's name, where he gets into talking about the instruments. He has quite intimate, talking about how the songs are put together and all the rest of it, and plays the really folky traditional instruments they use, and it seemed to get quite a lot of attention. But obviously they're quite a huge band nowadays. So I suppose I can move on for a minute, and I don't mean to be rude, but Shaggy comes from a much less well-known band, Hateball. If you hadn't guessed by the blatant self-promotion behind him, says.
I was to keep the fun in it, Paul. I was to keep the fun.
That's just your curtains, is it?
For now.
Well, I mean, despite being a smaller band, I believe you just set up your own DIY streaming event and actually achieved some superb viewing numbers. Is that correct?
Yep, 100% correct. Well, we were building, as per your help, partly, we were building up a bit of steam, our band, for over the past year or so. With a little bit more known names, and then lockdown hit when we were supposed to be doing our bigger gigs, like the Bloodstock, Metal to the Masses and Hordes, and then lockdown hit and struggled to think of something to keep the ball rolling, and we thought we'll try and do a live stream, and then we read about it and so much technical stuff. At the end of the day we bought about £20 worth of tech from EFR Air Studio, just said we can use the room for free if we do it on a Saturday, and that happened to be Halloween for a mass metal band. We aimed for about 40 people viewing. We said that would be amazing if 40 people viewed, and I think after about a week it was sitting at about 4,000 views, which for us is astronomical, more than we could have ever wished or thought in a million years.
That's
So
not bad going at all for doing it all DIY. I mean, you said you only spent 20 quid, 20 pounds.
give or take, yeah, more than our normal stuff. We got lights off Amazon that pulse with beats. It costs us a tenner for 2 of them. And I got a wee microphone that plugs into the bottom of your phone. That was a tenner off eBay, off Amazon as well, and made the sound almost perfect for a wee band like us. You know, it wasn't far different from the EP that we have, so
Yeah.
made us happy.
So, I mean, what do you think then were some of the major factors then in being able to draw some of those numbers of people to watch? What did you do in the run-up to the actual event, like the weeks before?
Literally, we just posted it on our Facebook, and that was it. Nothing more than that. We just posted it on the Facebook, and as you know, the underground metal scene here, it's quite hard to get people to come out to any gig unless it's a massive event or anything for local bands. So we thought, well, we'll be a local band that takes it into their living rooms, and obviously the Scottish people are lazy and just feel like, yeah, we'll watch it here, which is great for us. But
It's all right. It's all right. On a bit more of a sort of an open question, Tuomas, your streams were charged. Were they not? They're exclusively for viewing for paying customers like ticket holders. Yeah. Anna, your stuff you can see online on the likes of YouTube, can't you? So just as a kind of a slightly open question, and maybe put the cat amongst the pigeons here, but which one's better? To charge people for your streaming events, or to just let them see it as a promotional activity? What do you think? Anybody?
I think it depends. Like we did a pay what you want thing. So even though it was public, we knew that most of the people would support us in some way, and it worked. So we could really get through the first lockdown and, you know, not have too many losses, because we had almost 80 shows that were cancelled. So it was quite catastrophic for us, as like all of the other bands as well. And yeah, we thought this pay what you want thing, it worked for us. But I don't know. I can't really judge what is the best thing to do. It might also depend on the band.
I would say that's quite accurate. How about yourself, Tuomas? Keeping things to the paying customer. I think there's certain advantages to that. I was just wondering what your take is.
Well, the first stream, the main pressure was financial, because we lost 5 figures just on the North American tour getting cancelled. Then, of course, we lose the whole summer, which we didn't know at that point. So we didn't really think about the promotional point of view at all. We just had to survive the first month, and then slowly started to get money back from the flights and stuff that we could actually get the money back. We did have the promotional angle in our minds in a way, because we did release one music video of the same footage, and we did the same with the stream on January. So we got something free for the label YouTube channel anyway. And the first stream, it wasn't just streaming, we gave the complete file to the fans who bought the ticket, so they still have the gig. We didn't like at that time, last April, there was no streaming services like we have now. We didn't really have anybody to do the job for us, so it was a lot easier to record the gig. I did the editing, and then we sent the download link to all the fans, so we could cut all the middlemen, and we could actually offer something permanent for the fans, so they get like a live bootleg in a way.
Yep.
Which wasn't that it was a little bit complicated with the labels because it actually it is a bootleg that we offered, and we're selling without even labels being between there. We like this like a thin red line, like is it a geek or is it a bootleg? But luckily the labels were in the end okay. But I get both points. It would be good promotion, but bands need to survive also.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit complicated to draw the balance.
Talking of such things, to come back to you, Shaggy, obviously the decision there was that the promotion was more valuable than trying to monetize anything. Do you think that maybe you would have, if you were doing that again, you would go for something where you could provide something permanent for people to keep and try and come up with a method of getting paid, for want of a better phrase?
I don't know. Really, we're still at the stage of building the band's name. So I don't honestly know if that many people would pay for it right now. If us, I don't think we're big enough for that. We're not like in the humble presence of the two we're with. I don't think people would pay out too much for Hateball gigs right now.
Well, they might pay something.
we did plug some merch. We had new T-shirts made just before lockdown hit, so we're trying to flog them for a bit. And obviously the EP came out like a month before.
How did the sales actually go over the period after the live stream?
It was not bad. A few people asked us. We've not got anything big. We've got like a red bubble, I think it's called, and they kind of make their own T-shirts with our designs, and we get money off it. But a lot of people asked for T-shirts, and then it was just a case of just shipping them out, which probably half their money. We didn't really think about post and package because that is how big and professional we are these days. But yeah, we don't really do it for money yet. It's more in the fun promoting stage for us.
Well, would you say you still saw a wee bit of a boost to that sort of end of things from doing the live stream?
Oh yeah, a lot more got our EP got bought off Amazon, and a lot more streams on Spotify, which isn't exactly making money, but it's promotion, like you say.
Alright, it works. It all kind of works in one way, but well, we're slowly getting towards the end, but I've got time for one more sort of big question. We're going to go back round the opposite way. So I'm going to keep on with you for a minute, Shaggy. There, I'm going to ask each of you the exact same question for our last wee bit here, and that is, what advice would you give to musicians looking to go into live streaming their own event for the first time? Shaggy.
Don't think about it too much, because there's so much. Even on our Facebook, you're told left and right that you can't play this, you can't play that because of copyright issues, and you can only play for so long. We got told loads of, I don't even know if they're true, but we just put it out there. We've had no negative feedback yet off Facebook or YouTube for using it. We don't do any covers or anything though, so I suppose that helps. And also just have fun, because that's what we do every time we go out there, and that's the point now for me.
I'd have to agree with that. What about yourself, Anna? Advice for musicians looking to do a live streaming event themselves for the very first time?
Just don't do it.
Brutal.
Just don't. No. I don't know. I guess. Well, let's just hope that we won't have to continue to do these. But if you do it, just quality is really important. People appreciate it if the picture's good, if the sound is good. So, take your time to plan that and to maybe check if everything's working well. And just let the people who are watching know that you're really grateful and that you need them, that we as an industry need those people watching to survive all of this shit. Yeah.
We sure do. So, Tuomas, you're last. Your advice for musicians looking to do live streaming for the first time, what would you say to them?
I wouldn't recommend anybody to do any streaming. If somebody wants to do it, don't try to make it as a gig. I think that was our first stream went really well, but I think that was one of the reasons why it felt so horrible. That we thought it as a gig, but I think the best streams are the ones that you are a little bit more creative. Like I did one acoustic one also in the summer with my other band. We rented a cabin in the forest, and there was just me with the acoustic guitar and the clean vocalist, and that got a lot better feedback from the fans also, because even though there's the complete distance and lack of the energy of the audience, they could see a little bit more like behind the curtains of the band, and it was also a lot more like kind of cozy for us to do. So try to be creative if you really think you need to do one, because I think the mindset for the audience is going to be different when they don't see you performing a gig, because I checked a few of those live streams and it's impossible for me to get any kind of like a proper like a feeling or emotions from the live music if I see that it's an empty venue. That's kind of like an awkward like a combination, but I think for both parties, the audience and the band. But if you see the band, for example, do something in the studio or somewhere where it's a little bit more intimate, even though you're not in the same place, I think that would give the best results. But the quality is also really important, because that's even though it's really shitty times, you need to like maintain the certain standards, because that's how the fans will also like put value on your music and stuff. So
yeah, plan
it well and try to be creative.
And of course, it's out there forever as well. It's not like a moment in time that's just there and gone. Yeah. Everyone could go back and see that for, well, however long the internet lasts. Unless, of course...
I hope that, yeah. We don't know where the world's going now. Like, the 2023, we might have a complete apocalypse in our hands if this goes like it's been going now, but...
Well, that's it. We don't know. If anything's been proven this last year, is that we just don't know. However, what we do know is that you guys seem to all be saying, A, make sure you can make it as professional as you possibly can. B, it's not a gig. And C, if you're going to do it at some point, you just have to say, sod it and step out into the void. Just go for it. However, I think that's us coming to the end of the time that we have for today. It's been really great talking to you all. It's actually been one of my favourite chats doing all of these episodes. I really appreciate it, and thank you very much. I hope you all have a great time, and those that don't want to go back to streaming don't have to. And hopefully we'll get some live music going again, proper live music soon.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you very much, folks. I hope you had a good time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. It was nice meeting you all.
You too.
And you guys.
Bye.
And that once more is a wrap, folks. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to stay hooked up to Slow Dragon Music on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram and YouTube. But again, most of all, check out some tasty links from Myrockout and the bands down below.